I don't want to talk.
Breaking Beige is the journey of three 30-something mums trying to figure out who the hell they are post-babies. We can't be the only ones who feel like this. Who the fuck are we now? Just a mamas wearing thin? We want more. Finding our strengths, ditching the activewear and washing our hair. This is the journey of how we will gain our self-worth back and inspire you to do the same. Break the beige. Be a hot bitch.
I don't want to talk.
Evening.
Hey guys.
Oh, did you hear that? Evening. Evening.
I am loving these podcasts on your couch. It's really good.
Fun.
Snuggy little
Comfy.
vibe, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
I feel
cozy.
relaxed.
Night time.
Good.
Couple of Saturday night rages.
There's no place I'd rather be.
I know, that's the thing. It's so sad.
Like, unless
But
it's
awesome.
at a 90s party and I'm dressed up like Left Eye from TLC.
Yeah.
That's the only
And playing beer pong.
Yeah.
That's it.
That could be
Right. We are going to go straight into ins and outs. Kate's going to give us hers first.
Mine is again a bit of an in and an out. Mm-hmm. In the weekend, so we've got a dog, and we got a dog when we moved on the farm. Did you know we had a dog? Your face is saying like I did
Ben.
not know
Like
this.
I've met Amelia, the cat.
Yeah. So Ben
no.
is like a retired working dog, and Bash just like follows retiring working dogs on Facebook. And so like every third week I get another like, he has sent you a new dog, and I'm like, we don't need another one. We don't like the one we got. So
Where is your dog located?
oh, he's like
Around the farm.
over from the house.
How old is he?
Oh, I think he's about 9.
No.
What's his name, did you say?
Ben.
So we have had a real journey with pets in our house, and we started off, me and Bash actually got a black lab when we kind of first were like serious and got together. We brought this black lab, and I was like, I'm going to be the best dog, Mom. Like, it's going to be the most well-behaved dog. It was a nightmare, this dog. Like, honestly, every time I got home from work, it would like ejaculate on my leg. Like, it was the worst dog. And he was like,
Just missed every time,
yeah,
that dog.
he really missed every time. And he was a
Love
real
your laugh.
He was a real like
My jokes.
he was a real getaway dog too, so we would always like just be out, but we wouldn't know, and like, you know, it was a nightmare. But when Poppy came along, we ended up having to get rid of him because we couldn't walk him. Like, he was just crazy. So anyway, Ben went to a farm. He was also Ben. Went to a farm, and then like a couple of years ago, so a couple of years ago, Poppy was like desperate for a cat, and we were just like, yeah, cool, like we'll get a cat. We went to Animates, and it was like a pet adoption day. There was all these kittens there. There was some really cute like Taylor Swift kittens, and I kept being like, look at these ones, and she just picked the most feral
Of course she
tabby
did.
cat, like the saddest little runty cat out of the whole litter. And I was just like FaceTiming my sister Erin, who is 100% my vibe, and I was like, look at this fucking cat she's chosen. And Erin was dying. Like, she was like, just hide it behind a stand somewhere, get one of the fluffy ones, don't get that. And I was just like, she loves this cat, she won't put it down. Like, we ended up getting this cat, and she called it Ziggy. So this
Ziggy.
cat, to be fair, it was the most amazing cat. It
Yeah.
was like the most ultimate cat of all time. But this is the really sad thing. Poppy was like desperately in love with this cat, and she said, I didn't choose the cat, Mum. The cat chose me.
Oh.
And this is like a 5-year-old, you know. Like, I was just like, get the cat, you know. Like, it's all good.
Yeah.
We had this cat for like 6 weeks, and it got cat COVID, and it died. Well, this is a really sad tale, eh? Soz, guys, bringing down the tone once again. But we were literally devastated. Like, this cat just like went off its food, and it was really little, and yeah, and then we had to take it to the vet, and the vet was like, we've got to put this cat down. And Poppy literally just held this dead cat like all the way home. She rocked it on the couch when we got home, and there was like orange fluid coming out of its nose. Like, it was horrendous. And then we got, like, a few months later, she was like, I think I'm ready for another cat. And so we got this other cat, and that cat was called Tiggles. That cat was, like,
Oh my God.
the most horrible boy cat ever. Like, horrible. So when we moved from the rental we were in into our house, which we've just moved on, this cat kind of, like, must have sensed that we were moving, and this is a really long story, sorry. It ran away. And Poppy was devastated. She was like, oh my God, I can't have 2 cats gone. Like, this is such bad luck. Why am I a bad cat mum? So we had gone around all the neighbours and been like, look, if you see this horrible cat, like, it's ours. So actually your sister lived across the road from us. And we'd said to Jenna, like, God, if you see this cat, you know, she was like, oh, it actually has been calling in. She was like, no, we'll start feeding it and we'll catch it. And I was like, mean. She kept messaging me and being like, man, it's really skitty, eh? Like, it's a real skitty thing. And I was like, yeah, it wasn't a lover. Anyway, Poppy was sick one day, and Sean, Jenna's husband, messaged me and he's like, I've caught the cat. Do you know this story?
No.
So she's like, yeah, he
I know
messages
Jenna and
me.
Sean, but I don't know the cat. Like, I know Amelia, obviously, the other cat, but then their neighbour is also an Amelia. So I'm like, I'm sticking with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. It's
So he's
okay.
like, I've caught the cat. It's in a box. Like, I cornered it in the garage. I tackled it. Like, I got it in this box. And we were like, awesome. Poppy was pumped. And we drove straight
God.
down there, grabbed this box, took it home. And I was like, it will be so frightened. So just be really careful when you, like, open
God.
this box. Anyway, she opens this box. This cat that I've never seen before in my life jumps out, scratches her, and then boosts off into the bushes. And I was just like, oh my God, that wasn't our cat. Sean's just fully kidnapped this cat. And it's like, we're like cat kidnappers up Surrey Hill. Like, I was just dying. Poppy's like bawling her eyes out. She's like, that's not Tiggles. And I'm kind of like, well, thank God Tiggles is an arsehole, you know, like, it's a really shit cat. Anyway, we never found Tiggles. She's now got this new cat called Amelia, and Amelia is like doing our heads in because we don't have a cat flap at the house. Yeah. Bash is just up like 10 times a night letting this cat in and out, and it eats so much food and it's really annoying. But anyway, so pets are an in and out for me this week.
I get it.
Yeah, so Ben the dog ran away in the weekend and was just like being loved up by some other lady in the village, and she put this message on the tribe. I must have had about 18 calls from my friends being like, hey, your dog.
Oh, you're that one
Yeah,
today.
I'm
Oh,
that
yeah. Yep.
Even my sister who's in Cambridge rang me. She's like, where's Ben? I was like, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Ben's
calling
away.
me. I'm
He's
the
gone for a
person.
walk. So, yeah, anyway, Bash went and picked up Ben, and he was like to the lady, she was like, he's such a sweet dog. Oh, he's so precious. And Bash was just like, you want him? She's like, nah, but like, he was like, I'll pay you. Like, it's take the dog.
You can have my house and
Yeah.
my car. You can have my
the
wife.
dog.
Just take the dog.
So, yeah, in and out this week. Really long one. Sorry, guys. But, yeah, pets.
I was
In
just
and out.
excited, and I knew when you said we opened that box, I was like, it wasn't your cat. Sean.
It just
Cheers,
played
Sean.
out.
Cheers to the
Cheers,
cat.
Sean, for the cat
Love it.
kidnapping. What a legend, eh? Honestly, I honestly texted him after that, and I was like, bro, not our cat. And he was just like, no. Like, I've been feeding that cat for weeks. Like,
All in the name of Poppy.
all in
Oh,
the
I
name
know.
of Poppy. I was like, bro,
Good
I owe you some
intentions.
whiskers. I owe you some cat food.
Vero.
Anyway,
Vero cat.
What
Gina,
about you, Gina?
go. In and out, go. I don't know if you can comp that.
I'm struggling to
I
find
know.
anything that's
Sob, guys.
as good as that. My in
Go, hit us.
is quite instantaneous, but like Renee's toes, they look real nice.
Dang, I know.
But
She's
like
got
her
a nice
feet just look
toe.
real nice. They're like
Wait,
soft.
OnlyFans though?
They're like real soft. the colour, and they just...
Do you like feet?
Not really, not at all. I just can't believe I just touched them, but like, they just look really nice.
Clean, I promise.
Yeah, they're nice.
I do appreciate a good toe.
And my out
Like
is
a well painted
Kate's.
toe.
No,
Kate's entire story. Kate's toe.
no, I can't see them, so I won't
No,
out
you
them.
don't want to look. They're tucked tight.
Yeah, nah, that's me. Just nice.
That was a good one.
Like 2 pals, and I'm like, ooh, toes. No, I'm not a feet person at all. Nah.
neither.
Renee, you're up.
My in would have to be my staff. We've got kind of gone with Emma's away. I think I've talked about it like 10 times. So I'm really traumatised by it. My manager's away, and we're all just like hustling and getting it done. And it's really cool to see us all kind of like working together, and super happy when someone gets to go and kind of live their dream and make that happen. And that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I don't have any outs. Just
I
one
think
in.
your out can be her photos.
Oh,
Because
so
we're
beautiful
all
way.
jealous.
Like, it's just picturesque, like Greece, and then she's in Venice, and she's
Yeah,
just having the
dream.
best time, and it's just so warm over there, and she's just got all these beautiful outfits.
Yeah, she's really slayed it.
Yeah, she thought about it. She
Yeah.
looks good.
Yeah, she's nailing it. We're shitty.
Really shitty. I just wanted to bring up one of our listeners commented and asked us, does Kate really love her husband as much as she makes out that she does? Or is it just a big fake
Scam.
So we thought we might just touch on this because it is a question that we've been asked a couple of times. And I mean, look, Bash is the man. I get it. Do you want to comment on this, Kate?
Let's get Bash out here.
I know. Yeah. I just think it's hilarious. Like, why would I fake loving my husband?
I get it. Yeah.
He is so cool.
He is.
But it's a choice.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm sure he does things that like annoy me, and I'm like, oh my God, like pick your washing up or whatever. But I'm just like, I'm just not gonna dwell on those things. I want to be in a happy marriage.
I really love it. Like, obviously, like I see a lot of women on the daily in my job, and it has become as somebody their people's choice, but it's normal, and I wouldn't say cool, to moan about your husband.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, you know, this and that, and I then think it's quite rare but so beautiful to hear someone say, fuck, my husband's amazing.
Yeah.
And we should be normalising that. If you
Yeah.
actually think it, like, for real,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, like,
Yeah.
and saying to someone, oh gosh, you know, whatever, had a shitty day, but, you know, hoy lit the fire or whatever,
Yeah.
and celebrating those little things.
I
Sure.
just think it's wild that people would think that I have the time to make up that I like my husband. Like, I'm like, babes, there's a
Nah.
bit on. Like,
Yeah.
there's no benefit to me to do that. It's
There's
just
no
hilarious.
filter. There's no real filter with you, which is like
No,
one of my
like, you can
favourite
see
things about
that.
yeah,
So
exactly.
obviously I need no
Yeah.
encouragement.
But we did have a few people say, especially after the
we have
first
talked about this
episodes,
before.
that it made them, after hearing Kate, like, say something nice to their husband.
Yeah, one girl, and I'm just trying to find it, but I can't. But one girl messaged us and she was like, I've literally just texted my husband and said I love you because I'm just so like inspired by how lovely you guys are to your husbands. I was
Yeah.
like, mean, do
Yeah.
that. And like, yeah, I get it. It's tough, but it's a choice.
It is a choice. Yeah, totally. I definitely have, like, so like when we were growing up, so like my parents have been married for 40 years, and it's actually funny, it was something that I used to get embarrassed about. So like friends would come over and would, like, I don't know, go and play on the farm, and they'd be like, right, we'll all sit down and watch an afternoon movie, and like mum and dad would legit be pashing up on the couch.
I love that.
Yeah, I love
And
that
I love that
too.
now. I love
Yeah.
it now. And like, you know, they'll walk past and do a little gropey feel, and my friends would just
So cute.
This is appropriate in front of young children. No, I'm kidding.
but you know, that was
that's
normal
cute.
to me. And then, you know, and like there wasn't like mum was like, oh, I can't believe you didn't know these things. But when we were young, they didn't, well, I didn't know. I know now if she's pissed off with Dad, I get it because I'm an adult. But when we were young, we didn't see any of that. So that, to me, was like goals, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want my marriage to be like that.
Of course.
You know, so, and now kind of feeling proud about that was, I guess, what I had to look up to.
Yeah.
That's really special.
I think it's amazing. I think it's really amazing. I had a message actually from a friend of mine. I used to work with this rad-ass woman, and her name's Lou Bird. What a name though, eh?
So
Superstar.
cute.
She said, "Hey hun, loving your podcast. First time I've ever listened to one, and it's so great. Up to share warmth. So good to hear a rural take on life for rural women amongst the midst. So not sure if this is a subject or not, but now being 42, Tim and I are surrounded by marriages splitting, mainly due to infidelity. In one case, couples switched and married.
What?
Some of my girls and I are stay-at-home mums, and we feel there has to be something to be said about not being influenced outside of the marriage with work, social, gym activities, etc. So these ladies are all like rural women on a farm. Like all for two working parents, but a housewife mum is a champ too. I don't know if it's just what's going around us at the moment, teenage kids, etc. Like, what's next? Let's shack up with that one type thing. We had a wine the other night and rattled off 7 recent splits.
Wow.
And I was like, ooh.
Do you think that too? I think, I don't know, like this is me just like randomly throwing it out there, but like I guess it's easier to do that now with apps and Tinders and whatever, you know, like social media.
Yucky,
yeah, like it's like, I don't know.
I'm so pleased I wasn't dating when all that shit was around.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, I guess it's easier.
You're more connected to lots of different people if you want to be, even in that rural environment.
Yeah.
Whereas you probably normally never see anybody except the girls, you know, at a wine or something, because you wouldn't have had that connection with people. But yeah, that's really interesting. The couple swap.
I know, wild, right? I was like, babe, can I share this?
Yeah.
She went on and she said, back to stay-at-home mums and being one for 18 years and now with a 4-year-old too, I've done all the juggles, and I know that my kids and my husband are so much happier when I'm at home and they come home to a hot cooked meal and a warm home. Everything is done and in order, no stress every night. I'm a better mum and wife when I'm not stressed. Honestly, having another baby in late 30s, keen. It was so cool for the girls. She's got like 2 older girls that really like amped. She went on to talk about like what a mission it was, but she was just like, yeah, there's some really yuck stuff happening out there, but it, you know, like it's not going to happen in my family because I'm a hundy here.
And it's just that, I don't know, I'm not a marriage counsellor, but it's just that communication though, right? Like you never know what's going on in people's homes.
Yeah.
Like you don't know, right? Like you can't judge from the outside.
Yeah, this is really funny because when I grew up, my mum was like obsessed with rom-coms. That sounds really bad. She had lots of amazing traits. Like
She still does.
didn't
Your
just
mum's amazing.
watch rom-coms. She's amazing. But she's like, that's just like who she is. That's what she likes watching. We just grew up like a houseload of girls watching like Notting Hill and like Pretty
All
Woman
the happy
and like
endings.
all the beautiful movies. But I remember like growing up and watching these movies and being like, there's always a big drama and then they come tight, you know. And I know my early relationships, I was always like a drama. Like I would cause a drama to try to like regroup. But I was like,
It's not how it works.
It's
not the real world.
It's not how it works. So I learned a lot from like early relationships. But then when I met Bash, I was just like, man, like this is all it needs to be, and this is really cool, and we respect each other, and it's really nice. I just really love that guy. How does it work for you guys? Because obviously you live, work, kids, everything is all together.
Yeah, I suppose, I think we were talking the other day as well about what we kind of thought marriage would be and then what it actually is. And I think for me, I've always been pretty independent. And so now, like for Sam and I, we're so codependent of each other in every aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong, we're strong people on our own, but our work, our children, our running of our household, everything is together.
Yeah.
Which is way different to what I ever thought it would be. But I'm happy though.
Good.
Yeah, from what I think maybe I thought I would be like, where we'd have separate careers or whatever. But I'm really happy with where we're at. It is so intricately intertwined, but it just works.
That sounded really good.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, I don't know how you can work together and spend so much time together, but I don't know, we just
it's
do.
a dream for me.
It's not like I don't want to.
Yeah.
I also don't want to be like, it's just perfect, like it's sunshine and rainbows, because it's not.
No,
but,
and if you're realistic, people know that, right?
Yeah, for sure. But like majority of the time, it's pretty good, and like we've never come to a head where I've been like, I can't do the working part together or the this part together or whatever. So it works well. Yeah,
good.
I think shared goals and shared vision. I think so. A lot,
Yeah.
But interesting what you said about like what you thought marriage was going to be like too, because I thought like my marriage would be like my parents.
Yeah.
And then for ages I was like, I kind of not like them. And then I was like, like sweet, but was always like a little bit like Hoy's like super chill. He works really, really hard. So like in the weekends and stuff, he just kind of wants to chill. Whereas like I don't ever.
Like I want to pash on the couch in front of the kids and their friends.
He'd totally do that.
Throw me in front of the children.
No, that's not an issue in our household. We're fine like that. But more like
groping in front of the children.
They're like, ooh, gross. But I do still do a lot of things by myself.
Yeah.
And for ages, like we've been married for 10 years, but for the first few I was just like, fuck, is this normal? Like, is this all good that I still go and have, not another life, but I go and do all these things.
Yeah.
But I really, really enjoy that. And I like that we have separate interests. And I think that it was just always that worried about what other people were thinking and what was other people's normal.
Yeah.
But I'm fully fucking okay with how we are.
That's like an age thing, I reckon, and just been like, no, this is what we're about.
Yeah. Because we'll like go to like events and stuff and people are like, oh, where's Hoy? And I'm like, hey, this is just not his thing. Yeah. And like I used to be like, make like sort of excuses. And now I'm just like, he just didn't want to come.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be there. He might as well be where he wants to be, right?
Totally.
Yeah,
it's not his thing.
Like,
yeah. But he also like works really long hours, and what he does say to me is like, I actually really miss the kids, and he just like wants to hang out with them, and so do I. But I'm also like, I've been with them all week. So like I'm like, I've just come to this honestly probably in the last like 18 months to 2 years that I'm like, I love our life and I'm good with it.
Found your peace with like where you're at,
how it is.
It doesn't have to look a certain way.
No,
or be
And us sisters,
for you, it works.
like there's 5 of us, and we kind of joke about like we all were like looked up to mum and dad, and we were like,
dream.
That's what we thought it was going to be like.
Thanks, mum and dad.
Set us up for failure.
But I just think that if that's your norm, then sweet.
100%.
You know, like, and just don't worry about too much what other people say.
Yeah. I think I had a situation when we'd just sort of had Poppy, and a friend of mine had a baby at the same time, and she was just super niggy on her husband. She was like, oh my God, I do everything. I'm doing all the night feeds. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And it was just like, she's hammered, she's venting, that's all good. But I just like watched the texts that were coming through, and I was like, I'm not judging you, because you know, we've always talked what you feel is valid, you know, how you're feeling is valid. But I was just like, I never want to speak about my husband like that to anyone, because I'm like, he's my choice, you know. So, and I think I've said this before, if I'm going to moan and bitch about him, that reflects badly on me because I chose wrong.
But I think if you've got like a really good friend, like, yeah, you want to be like, yeah, he's awesome, but you can still be like, oh, fuck, Besh was late tonight. Or, you know, like, or say something like normal because nothing's...
that totally happens.
Yeah.
Like, I would still say to you guys, like, I don't know if I actually
I
think
can't actually think of anything because he's perfect.
Besh didn't do any of the fucking night feeds of Amelia last night. That bloody cat.
He does all the night feeds with Amelia.
Or maybe he's saying that about you. No.
Yeah, he definitely
won't
would
be.
be.
No, he
like, we
wouldn't.
wake up in the morning and he's like, I got up like 10 times last night to that cat. And I'm like, well, take her down the farm. Accidents happen.
No.
Renee's like, I won't make it an accident next time. I'll
Renee's
get
going
it.
to aim for her in the driveway.
I'm not a lover of cats at all.
Dark.
So bad.
good.
But it is, like you said, like it's a choice. Like, I don't know, you just never know situations and we can't pretend to know how other people feel and what is happening in their households.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy, especially when children are involved and if you aren't
Totally.
particularly happy in your marriage. But I guess, yeah, that's a choice because things do, like you choose a person and you think they are who they are and then sometimes kids do change things,
Yeah.
you know, so I don't know. I don't think that you can judge other people's decisions like that.
No, absolutely.
But thinking hard about what you want out of life because it's short.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
always
you want to be
think too,
happy.
like, just reflect on how you're behaving too. Like
100%.
if there is tension in your household between you and your partner or whatever, think about what you're doing to contribute to that. Like if you're like, you didn't even do the rubbish, like, oh God, you've got one job, you know, like just rein it in, you know, like that's a choice too. So yeah, I get it. Like things are really annoying. Do you need to say it to him?
I reckon,
Challenge it.
No,
Challenge
I was
it.
going to say, like, I reckon, and I say this to Sam because he'll be like, you're being a real bitch. And I'll be like, well, that's because my period's due tomorrow and I'm blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, am I always a bitch or is it just today? And he's like, yeah, you're not always a bitch. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Like, but it's like, there are times when I literally cannot hold back what I have to say, and that sounds really terrible.
No,
but I'm literally
we've all
like,
done that.
men get friggin' like testosterone released in their body on a regular, consistent basis.
Yeah.
And women's hormones are all over the shop. And I hear you, like, sometimes I reckon, and I've started getting better at being like, just shut the fuck up. Just keep that in there. But sometimes I just cannot hold it in.
Yeah,
Like,
and
I am
that's valid.
terrible.
Do you apologise?
Yeah.
We're all looking at Sam like, does she?
Nah, I'm pretty good. You're better at apologising, eh?
Stubborn.
I'm really
Yeah,
stubborn.
I'm stubborn
I'm a
too.
stewer. Like, or I like to go and have some time to myself to think
Yeah.
about things. Sam likes to get things out, get them solved, get his apology from me,
Yeah.
and then move on. And I'm
Yeah.
but I'm better now at just being like, okay, cool, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry, I was a bit of a dick. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's it's an interesting one, but I think it's how you move through stuff like that.
Yeah.
That always strengthens.
Because it does, like life throws things at you and life
Totally.
changes and you change.
Totally.
So, like, love somebody enough to be like, I want to start smoking meth. I don't know. It's not that. But, you know, like, imagine if
Point
you
at me
did
and say it.
something. Sorry, because that was the last episode. But, you know, like, I come up with crazy stuff all the time.
Yeah, but he loves you for that because that's
Oh,
not him.
But he's just like, whatever. You
Yeah.
know, like, it is what it is. But,
Yeah.
like, you know, life is so... How am I trying to say this? Like, it's a long time to be with someone, that one person all the time, and you grow and you change, and it's about navigating that.
Yeah. But holding tight to it.
Yeah, but then because I've heard of people that are just like, I just stopped loving them. And I'm just not.
Choice.
It's, yeah. But if you just feel like you stop loving them,
Yeah.
you know, like I've heard this from people and I'm like, okay, and then make that choice.
I think there's such a difference though between like like you said, if someone says, I've stopped loving them, like, and then at what point is it like, is that where people cheat on people? They're like, I just stopped loving them. But then it's like, do you then stop respecting them?
Like,
you know what I mean?
Free rein,
and I suppose it's, like, how many people actually get to that point of being like, oh, wow, like I've come to this realization. I felt like this for a while. I don't, I don't love you anymore. And that they can say that and have that conversation with that person in a respectful
be a really hard conversation to have.
Yeah, but then it's like, how many people just like, oh, I'm just
done.
Not into it anymore, and they just go out and find someone else. Like, how awful is
that's
that
really
for
hurtful.
someone to go through? I mean, I guess it's both of those things are hurtful, aren't they?
Totally.
Like, for someone to just say something like that or to go the other way. Like,
I've always said that to Bash, if you ever like at a work do or a pub or some function somewhere and you were like, dang, about another girl, like I would want you to break up with me before you actioned it, like please respect me enough to do that.
Yeah.
And he's always just like, get out. Like,
shut
it's
up.
so ridiculous. But I think a lot of it comes down to like apologizing, like we talked about before, but I say sorry all the time. Like I'll have a rant about something and then I'm just like 10 minutes later, I haven't spoken to him for 10 minutes. I've been frosty ass bitch. And then I'm like,
ooh, yeah,
I don't like, we're normal, you know, like
Yeah.
we're totally normal. And then he'll come in and to the kitchen and he'll be like, do you want to talk now? And I'll go, I'm real sorry. I was like feeling annoyed about that.
Sam's laughing because
Why are
this
you
is what I do.
Oh. But I'm like, it makes me real like, oh, I don't want to say sorry. But I always do it because I'm just like, it's going to make it better, right? I'm like, why do I need to like be shitty at you all night? I'm just going to be like, soz babe.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, get in here.
Life's too short.
Gives you a big
Life
hug.
is way too short. I'm like, what if I got shitty at him about like the fact that he didn't like the throw I'd put on the chair and he didn't notice it. And I'm like, oh my God, you never notice anything that I do around here. And then he's like, whoa, okay. And I'm like, just give me a minute. And then he walks down the farm and has a heart attack. And that's the last thing that happens.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, babe. Mm-hmm. Like, just love that guy up. Dramatic, though. Like,
It's probably quite relatable.
Yeah.
Like, I think we all have moments where we're just like, oh. But it's like you said, it's just about like not thinking that everything's someone else's fault all the time.
yeah,
right?
like
It's
I'm
about
like,
being
I actually...
does it matter?
yeah,
Does it
you need
really
to
matter?
Reflect and just be like, I probably was a dick then.
Yeah, yeah. And I think
I'll
there's
just
so many
say
cool
sorry.
there's so many cool things to like think about as well. Like I could get real wound up about something and name like a whole lot of things that Sam didn't do or didn't
Bottle
notice
them
or
up, store
whatever.
them up
But
for
then
that
I'm like,
fight.
oh, he's actually such a cool dad. Like he makes me laugh. He makes me laugh. He's really like he could like like there's all these things.
Yeah.
Like
Focus on the positives, eh?
yeah, like
And
he's
there are
always the
guys
first
out
one there
there
with his arms out.
That
and
wouldn't
he's-
do that.
Nah, and he's
Yeah.
like this insane dad, and I
Yeah.
always knew he'd be a wicked dad. Like I think about like people in relationships, and then they're with someone, and then they're just they're not really that interested in the kids, and I'm like, fuck.
I
Like
saw this thing
So
today.
that would be hard though. Sorry, Kate. So
No,
that
you're
would
right.
be hard. So you thought you loved this person so much,
Yeah.
and then you had kids with them, and they're not the parent you thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
Would you fall out of love with that person because they don't love your kids? You know, so you don't know people's
no, you're right.
situations. Like,
Yeah, you're right.
you know, so it's easy to have this chat because all we know is our situation or
Sure.
our friend's situation or something else that's happened. But,
Yeah.
you know, like if that was me, I'd be like, peace out.
yeah,
You know,
then it's
like-
the actual reality of what peace out looks like.
I know. That's a whole other
another
ball game.
episode.
Yeah, because it would be hard.
Yeah,
I saw this thing today and it was like some bad TikTok video when I was like snotty on the couch. And this dude was like, if you're not sure what your husband's priority is, what's his screensaver? And I was like, What is Hoy's screensaver? A motorbike?
What's your screensaver, Sam?
The kids.
Because
Yeah, that's
Sometimes Hoy,
Yeah.
but Hoy's got this really like hot ass
Sam and the
photo
kids.
when I call and it comes up on his like screen and it's like me in this bikini. So it's like, and it's my wife.
Yeah,
you
me.
know. Sometimes he'll have one of the kids, but his screensaver's normally a motorbike.
But that's okay because he's also like doesn't get time to ride his motorbike, so he's probably just dreaming, manifesting.
Frothing over his phone. Oh God.
Yeah,
So I think the like sum up is Kate does love her husband
I
and
fully
it
love my
is
husband.
real. Yeah.
But it ain't always smooth sailing.
Nobody is.
Like,
No.
I don't want anyone to think that it's like super, super sweet all the time.
but I think
We
what
definitely
if
have our
you
moments.
actually are happy in your relationship and you're married or you have a partner or whatever, maybe learn something from hearing Kate talk about how much she loves her husband and tell your husband you love them and give them compliments, because I tell you what, if you start that, you know, what you'll get in
reckon-
return it will be, you know, beyond, because you'll start that positivity, right?
Sure.
I reckon if you're like me and Bash, if we say this all the time, like I'll say, do you reckon we'll ever break up? And he goes, there's no doubt in my mind that I'll be with you forever. And I'm like, there's no doubt in my mind either. Like he's like, there's no option for breaking up ever. There's nothing that could happen that we wouldn't work through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's so solid that
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, anything else we just work out because it's
Yeah.
solid. That's like, I don't have doubt.
Yeah.
And it's the doubt that creeps in that's then like feeds more little things.
For sure.
And you're like, oh, maybe the grass is greener. Maybe maybe that guy's hot. Maybe he'd just check me out, you know? There's no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just like,
And I think
forever.
I think the best relationships, and I've always said this, is like that where one person thinks that the other person is like
Better?
too good for
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
And vice
Yeah.
versa.
yeah.
And I think when you have something like that, and like Sam and I have done this all the time, and like we have these funny like little chats
Yeah.
like you and Bash, and he's just like, oh, I think the only way that we would ever break up would be like if you left me or if you
Yeah.
cheated on me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna cheat on you. Like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about? And I'm not gonna leave you. And he's like, well, then we'll be together forever. But I know it's not gonna be me that leaves you.
Nah,
like, and I'm like, but
hard.
I'm not gonna leave you. You know what I mean?
Why would I?
And I think it's just that that understanding, and like you said, like keeping it tight, not keeping
Just working on it, eh?
Yeah.
Like working on it every day. Making a real effort to just say nice things.
And feeling lucky to have them, like,
Yeah.
you know, I feel lucky to have you.
And I really feel sad for the people out there who don't have that maybe,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I know it's not like that for everyone, so I don't have rose-coloured glasses on about it, the whole thing, you know. I'm just really lucky in my marriage, and it ain't easy for everyone, you know.
Just need to get a lab and pump out some
Yeah.
clones of Bash.
Maybe just
So everyone's got one.
start kidnapping kittens.
Oh, that was a
Kidnapping
cool
Amelia.
chat. I love that little, like, that's a nice, honest, like, real chat.
Well, I just think it's really confronting when someone's like, do you actually honestly love him that much? There's no way. I'm like,
So funny. We
babes.
should release an episode that's literally just like, no! Just a
This is
real
a positive, yeah.
clickbait.
No, I don't even know him.
Have you seen him?
We hired him to come in from rugby training. I'm actually single.
He's actually my brother.
Love it.
Oh, good chat. Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Gina. Peace out. Thank you,
Look, I don't
Sam.
wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop. I don't wanna speak. Talking all that